Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I'm here with Tim, and we're going to see if Jonathan's going to jump on or not, but we were pre-warned he may not. We've had a ton of action, especially between me and Jonathan, so we're going to update you on that in a minute. And quite the tricky customer, this so-called experienced player that we saw early on. But what's been happening with you, Tim?
Not a whole lot really. I've taken over the two NPC countries that were either side of me.
Yeah.
So I'm about to gain. I've got my troops heading into the second city, Tepic, on the west side.
Oh yeah.
I'm taking over Zalapa on the east.
Took the land all around it first.
Yeah, circled around it and then just went in. What I didn't realise, I thought there'd be a couple of infantry on there, but it was actually just one National Guard. So I think that's how they do it with the NPC countries on this. So it's actually quite easy to take over, probably with a couple of troops.
That's good to know.
Yeah, prepared for more, but didn't need it in the end. So yeah, I think the next player I'm going to take on is Nuevo Leon on my sort of northeast. Head through there.
Yeah.
See how that goes, and then sort of eventually link up with you, I suppose. Through Chihuahua.
Yeah, Chihuahua would actually link you.
Yeah.
Okay, looking good. And we were saying about your player next to you, the purple player. He's put down a load of arms industries, and some they've put down on actual, resource production tiles, but some not. Like this one, and this one hasn't landed on any resource tiles. Totally waste, not doing anything. It's doing nothing at all. And even more bizarrely still, our friend and neighbour who let's show you what's happened here. But the guy north and the one east to me, we've had a proper run in. So he attacked me in the middle of the night in Spokane. So I went to investigate Kurt Dalene with four troops and one combat recon, and he had 2 troops and 1 combat recon. And actually, because of his defensive bonus, when you're in a city you get an entrenchments bonus of like 25%, and also because his units, if defending, if I'd attacked him, you get a bigger defense rating, so 3.8 defense on troops and 3 as opposed to 3 attack on if you're attacking. So the defensive bonus meant that we were pretty even though I had like 5 units and he had 3. So I went back to my city and sat there overnight, and he actually came and attacked me, and he was totally just destroyed really. And you can see I took a bit of damage with the stack, but he wasted his attack there. And then I went back and took over that city, and then I went down here and took this one. And then now I'm doubling back because he's playing silly buggers. Just keeping an eye on his troops. He's got 2 troops there and 1 here, and I'm just going to make sure I build up a good stack, defend my homeland cities especially, and just see if I can take out these stragglers carefully and without really needing to lose any troops. I think he might have gone AFK Tim now. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
At first it looked like he was trying to save the situation, but he's lost his capital. Jonathan pounded into him with these 5 troops here, these 3 and this 1. So yeah, 8 troops and a combat recon bash into his capital. Now he's going for this one, and I did the back and forth and danced with him a bit and came out very nicely on top. Didn't lose any troops, and he lost a stack of 3. So far so good, but just trying to maintain that advantage.
It's always a bit of a bonus really if they come in and sort of do the attack for you when the odds are sort of more in your favour.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, because surely he'd have. Well, he just mustn't have known what I had on that city and was just going for it.
Yeah.
Maybe he was hoping it was empty, or I did have 1 troop that I split off and was milling around and sent back eventually. Maybe he thought I just had 1 troop that got scared and ran off. But going well, and I've done an arms industry on each of my production tiles. Don't really want this stack of 2 troops going into it. And to my north, So I've taken a load of land. Now, I found out something you can do, Tim. I don't know if you're aware of this. And I don't know what value it has, except for me presenting this series. So if you hold down Control and then left mouse click, you can highlight tiles on the map. And I've just highlighted 3 mountain tiles that are kind of northeast. In between me and the purple guy, and these mountains are going to take hours and hours to get through, and I've taken them, so I'm going to have loads of time if he does decide to come and attack me. I know he's coming, and equally the same here. So these ones that I'm highlighting now are mountains, and this one, can't highlight that because I haven't taken it, but I will soon. And I'm just going to have loads of time if he tries to come and attack me. It was a bit odd. The player to the north of me, Tim, originally he sent troops over to Vancouver, but he seemed to be then running away towards Kelowna, and then I don't know what's happened to him. So he could have one massive stack that he's going to bring bashing into me one day, or he may have gone AFK as well, so we're not sure. But made a good start anyway, because I've taken his 2 cities, no casualties. I've taken another 2 cities here on the east, no casualties. So 4 cities in the first day, no casualties is a pretty bit of a billy bargain, really.
Yeah.
Happy with that. I've done a second wave of combat recons, so I've got another 6 combat recons, which I'm shuffling around. But my supplies have gone right down in production because the units are taking all that maintenance now.
Yeah.
So that was a bit...
Yeah, I suppose sort of get the first wave out, try and sit on them for a little while, and while you're building your production per hour back up, I suppose.
Yeah, and I'll certainly focus on supplies and build up those cities over most anything else now, because that's going to be the main need. So that's good to know. So I've got an arms industry and an underground bunker on one. Could do with a hospital. What's the... it's a reasonable population. And then what have I got on the other? Yeah, just the underground bunker and a recruiting office. But now we're pretty low on resources. It's all been spent, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's always tough. Like, I always find sort of days 2 to 4 maybe is always a bit... You just can't really do anything. You just have nothing of anything.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, you just got to try and take land. I think the main thing is just try and take land, isn't it? And build up your cash so you can buy more resources.
Yeah.
Of your initial offers. Very
strategically keep building. So I've got one guy trying to land grab in the north. But this is where the National Guard could come in. So, and God, there's a really important feature of this map that I've been looking at. And so when you go through mountains, it takes absolutely forever. But if you don't go through mountains and you do a normal route, it doesn't take it nearly as long. It's not that bad. I think maybe it is slower than normal maps, but not hugely. But when you go through mountains, it can take a very, very long time indeed. So mountains are definitely to be avoided. They're hugely strategic points to take. But also, because it takes so long to take land, it's definitely going to be worth bashing out a few National Guard, in my opinion, to just go and do the laborious land grab.
Yeah.
And sit on cities and to save the rest of your forces to do the strategic bashing, I think. So that, and also because National Guard are so cheap when we're so low on resources at times in the game, I think they're going to have their place. So we'll see how we get on with that. It might be that I just make a couple of National Guard for those purposes of like land grabbing through mountains, for example. Because I'm pretty sure even some big mountain ranges, they're going to take about anywhere between 4 and 6 hours to get through just one tile. The small mountain ranges in a small tile are a good, I think, maybe 4 hours, between 2 and 4 hours to get through the whole thing. How have you been finding movement?
It did take quite a while to take these NPC countries. It was a pretty much like a 24-hour round trip. Um, so I only ended up taking these cities this afternoon and this one this evening. So
They're really
yeah,
small.
it did couple of mountainous provinces. Did take quite a while. Um,
I've researched the choppers. Oh God!
oh
So
yeah,
no one knows. I've started researching the rotary wing officer, and I've decided to go for choppers. And I've researched them. I've got the attack helicopter, which is really really good against hard targets like tanks and stuff. Not so good against troops. And the helicopter gunship has become unlocked. That's going to be really good against troops. So it'd be nice to have a mix ultimately, but I'll bash out an attack helicopter. And I'm in the process. If we have a look at the infrastructure needed, you need airbase level 2, which I'm currently building. It's going to take 23 hours 42 minutes. Airbase level 2 there. And yeah, you see my money situation. I've been in the market buying what I need. Everything's still available, especially electronics, rare materials. Yeah, everything's still available. A bit short on petrol actually, but that'll become a glut later in the game. So I might need to consider grabbing the rest of that petrol, the fuel. But I've not got much money. So yeah, I've had to really buy from the market to be able to build that airbase. And once the airbase is done, I'm going to need... We show you what these cost. 750 electronics. Well, I'll have enough because I've got 2,500. It's the only thing I've got something of left. But I'll need 900 components, which I've got really good production, 148 an hour, and then 3,000 money. So I'll make sure not to spend too much more money on stuff in the shop, and I should have enough of everything to start building my first helicopter. I might want to have a recruiting office there, and it takes half an hour, and it increases your build time by 10%. So I'm probably a couple of days off my first helicopter, which will help me against vehicles. And then if you think about it, my combat recons, they're really good against people. So I've got the people-vehicle combo there. What sort of... And then I'm currently researching the exceptional pilot, the rotary wing officer, and they're just crazy good. They've got they're going to buff the whole stack, and then they've got the additional damage against hard targets. Hang on.
Yeah, very strong against both, aren't they?
I've looked at the wrong one. They're really good against troops. 9 against troops, 11 against tanks, and then 4 against helicopters. So just having that in the stack is going to give it a really powerful bash into whatever it chooses to bash into, really. It's very expensive. That's 2,400 electronics, 3,400 supplies. That's going to take a bit of saving up, I think.
Yeah, it's always a little bit difficult to bosh out one of those officers in the first couple of days, but they are really powerful for that stage of the game, so
yeah,
worth it.
So maybe 1 attack helicopter and 1 pilot, and that'll be the initial combo. But we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. So we've had a good start. Now, the evaluation of the first day is that none of us have been missile attacked out of the game yet, which is always a bonus, and none of us have taken a really bad hit where we've lost a whole load of stuff. Have you lost any troops, Tim?
No, not yet. So yeah, pleasantly surprised by the fact there was only 1 National Guard on those cities, so not had a real fight yet.
That's good. And you're just pushing in one direction now, like Jonathan was. But I was kind of split between my north and my south. I was my north and my east. Although Idaho, which is the player we've bashed into, they've taken Salem, which is southwest. but they've only got a couple of troops there, so I can push out toward him, but I just want to be a bit careful and a bit cautious because he is being a bit cheeky sneaky. So I just don't want to make any silly moves that will lose me a city where I don't need it. So I've got, I could... See, one thing I've been doing heavily is using my plane to scout, and you just send it over to patrol. It's not going to attack, and then it just sees where everything is, and I've been able to follow troops all over the map and find out where they are and position myself accordingly. It's been so useful. Especially early game, where just even that slight bit of intel can give you just that huge advantage, really, of knowing roughly what's coming and where from. You can position yourself accordingly. So I'm going to fly my plane over here, see if they are still in the city or if they're just heading for me. If they're heading for me, I can sit tight. If they're just in the city, I can go for him. Or he might have got, be moving elsewhere. We don't know where he is, so we will see, and I'll go after him, and then get together an attack force somewhere around here, and then bash into the remaining units and just try and mop up a bit, and then start to push forward into some of this land. And then when Idaho's taken care of, which is obviously dead now with his capital gone, but when all the mopping up's done, I can then focus a bit more on the north, and then we'll have a good front to push through. I'd imagine it would. It's Montana and Alberta next for me. And after Nuevo Leon for you, you might go for Chihuahua, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think just like link up, so we've got like a straight border all the way down along the west coast, and then we can all just kind of push in a wave, I suppose, east.
Yeah. How do you feel about the player to your southeast? Are you going to put any defence down there?
I'm gonna. So I've got those that big sort of mountainous region on that border. He might choose to just come to my coastal cities. Hopefully not. But I'm building my first strike fighter now, so I think if I do spot anything coming over my border, I should be able to deal with it just with strikes.
Cool.
But I'm gonna leave him alone for now. Like he seems to just be pushing south, so he might just carry on doing that.
How? Okay, so you must be in a different doctrine to me, because for me to get a strike fighter, it's not even unlocked until day 3. So
is it day 3? Yeah, Europe is European is day 1. Quite a nice advantage for that tech.
Yeah, so you're in a doctrine that unlocks it in day 1. I'm in one that unlocks it in day 3. That's annoying. I wonder what. So can you get the attack helicopter? I wonder what the differences are. See,
that's day 3 for me.
Okay, so that's what I've got available. Okay, it's kind of made the decision for me then, because I might have gone for a strike fighter if it was day 1. So that's interesting. God, I always get really tempted to go for towed artillery because it's always unlocked day 1, and just when there's troops just not doing anything and you can just bash them from a distance, I think, oh god, that would be great.
Yeah,
just sit.
I did use them in some of my earlier games. I ended up stopping and just sort of going for the launchers later on, but I mean, they're definitely not bad. If you get a few together, the damage is still like decent. 3.5 and 3. 2 or 3 of those, it's not bad.
Yeah, they're very expensive though, aren't they, compared to what you get with the launcher? It makes sense just waiting.
Yeah. What day do you get launchers on? Is it day 5?
Yeah.
Alright, that's probably the same for everyone then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a powerful unit. I have to have a think about what land unit to go for. I'm tempted for the big tank destroyer, for that ultimate big stack where you get... not tank destroyer, main battle tank, I mean. Where you get that really huge hit point advantage of 50.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the leaderboards then and see what's going on in the world. So people will have got together and they will have been making their moves. And I don't know.
There's only one other coalition, actually.
Is there? Cool.
Yeah.
That's unusual, but I'm sure coalitions will form. It's only the first day. One other coalition, and they're not doing as well as us in terms of provinces or score, but they're not that far behind. It's Haiti, Florida, and Yucatan. Oh, that's your neighbour.
Oh, okay.
Haiti, Florida, and Haiti. Okay, so bottom right corner. Ooh, so you've got the only alliance in your game on your doorstep. That's going to be interesting.
Hopefully they just sort of concentrate on like Cuba and the rest of South America together. Well, I suppose it's Central America, isn't it? But
I'd be on your guard, mister.
Yeah.
I'd be on your guard. Let's have a look at the top players then. So we've got, in terms of cities, oh right, it's me. I doubt that will last. Jonathan will probably overtake me and maybe even you, who knows, because I've got quite a lot of mess to clean up. We've got Colorado, Florida, New York. They're all doing well. They're pushing out, so there'll be ones to watch. And Texas start with 7, I think. Yucatan looks quite aggressive, actually, your neighbour. And got a few others on 7, so we've got a fair bit of action in the game. I had a message from Idaho saying, how about peace between us? And I was like, okay, sure. But he sent that. He's not going to get peace, by the way. He sent that after I'd taken his second city and after Jonathan had taken his capital. So he's basically got 2 cities left and he's asking for peace. Well, I'd be thinking about what the next game is that you're playing, not trying to salvage this one. But he was pretty unlucky being in between me and Jonathan. Or just being in between 2 players that choose to attack you, because you know, 1 player against 2, you don't stand a chance really. Not unless you're a gold player.
No. You're right.
So I'm doing quite well on my supplies and stuff, and my, you know, all my stuff, all the supplies, components, fuel and all that sort of stuff. Pretty happy with the research. I'm going to save up for the next one. Not sure what I'm going to research next. It's going to have to be probably some sort of powerful ground unit, so I can wait for the main battle tank or just go for the armoured fighting vehicle. I think given the mountain situation, main battle tanks are pretty awful in the mountains. They get a minus 50% attack, minus 25% defense, and their speed is terrible. It's at 0.33. You look at the armoured fighting vehicle, there's no debuff in the mountains, and they're at 0.43 speed, so they're faster. So that could be a real tempter. But are you going to go for a land unit, or what do you think you'd go for?
So I've sort of thought about like my first week. I've basically got everything I want for now. The next 2 things I want to research are the mobile anti-air, and then I want to get the rocket launchers like on day 5 researching.
Yeah.
So basically just going to stick with these troops, stick with the infantry officer and the strikes, let them do the work for the first couple of days. And then sort of start building my launcher and anti-air stack.
Okay, yeah, that sounds cool. I think I'm on the same page, but I want to squeeze out a strong land vehicle, and I think I'm going to lean toward the Sheridan tank again, actually, just because of the debuffs on the main battle tank. That's a tough one. I think that might
less
be
health, but better well-rounded, isn't it?
Yeah, and it could even be more powerful than a main battle tank 1-on-1 in the mountains. So, not that there's a ton of mountains, but they're here and there. Yeah, It's not necessarily going to be dominated by mountains. That's to consider. Ooh. I might need to start off with the fighting vehicle, but then go into the main battle tank. Yeah, mountains are here. Mountains are just very near me in the early game. So maybe use Sheridan tanks to push through them and then go the main battle tank thereafter. There may not be any point going for the armoured fighting vehicle. If I can get away with the ton of combat recons I've got at the moment. Okay, that's good to note. After midnight tonight, Victoria, which was the northern competitor's capital city, that'll be at a morale where I can just leave it, and I'll land grab with this, and I'll get these 2 tiles, and then take that troop somewhere and put him to work. And Vancouver I'm going to have to sit on for a couple of days, unfortunately. And same with these 2 cities I've just taken over. But yeah, very pleased with the start. And any last thoughts?
No. I think I've covered everything for now.
Looking good. Well, we'll look forward to catch up with Jonathan tomorrow. Hopefully if he jumps on. But for now, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Over and out.